Let's call the meeting in order, please. Today is Tuesday, October 12th. We're here for our regular council meeting. We're going to stand for a moment of silence followed by the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Tanner, would you call the roll, please?
Mayor Kathy,
Here.
Mr. Pollock,
Here.
Mr. Smith,
Here.
Ms. Call,
Here.
Mr. Key.
Here. Thank you. Next on the agenda is citizens' comments. I think from what I see, everyone here knows the rule, just name, address, come to the podium. If it's an agenda item, please wait till then. If not, citizens' comments are welcome.
Good morning. Morning. Should speak or preach from this?
We prefer speaking.
My name is Joel Harris and my wife Teresa, the property owners at 102B Miramar Drive. We own one side of a duplex. I think some of you are familiar with the issues that we're having. My neighbor's been in a lawsuit for almost 3 years now, trying to settle his insurance so he can demolish his side of the unit. Therefore, I can't demolish my side. His attorney won't let him. And I can't tear down one side without tearing down his side. So back in April of 2020, we got a letter from the city saying we're violating local codes. You need to demolish your building. You're going to get fined. So I sent a letter to the city. Also called, explained the situation. I got on telephone calls told, don't worry about it. I'm not going to fine you at this point. Just keep us abreast of what's going on, which I did in 2020. And then in February of this year, I got another letter saying the same thing. Called the city, also sent a letter on December 26th explaining the situation. Nothing's changed, still waiting on the lawsuit to settle. And same situation this year, call, tell them what's going on. Everybody knows the deal. Been in touch with my neighbor all through this, and lawsuit date keeps dragging out. Right now it's set for November 15th of this year. Nothing's changed on that. Hopefully it won't change. COVID obviously last year slowed things down for a year. We got a letter on October 4th dated September 29th of this year saying it will be fined $7,500 and our building's going to be torn down at our cost and the city will send us a bill. I tried contacting the city. Actually, I called the special master that was listed in the letter. He wouldn't return my call, sent me a text saying take it up to circuit court. Called the city administrator, was told the same thing by him. And also Ms. Lyons, I talked to her, she directed me to the city administrator as well. At this point, I've tried to contact 8 different attorneys. None of them want to take our case to file any kind of appeal on circuit court due to the short duration of time to do it, or they said it's bad for their business, get involved in city politics. So I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place. I've got no time to appeal this in circuit court. I've got no way to tear down the building because my neighbor's tied in court with it. And to date, as of yesterday, he has not gotten this notice from the city as being fined. He said if he does get it, his attorney will file a petition to court to allow them to tear down the building. But as of yesterday afternoon, he got another letter. No petition's been filed with the court to tear down the building. So I'm wedged between a rock and a hard place. I can't move either way, and I can't file an appeal, because I can't find an attorney to take the case. I respectfully ask for y'all to delay this until the court hearing in November, to give us some time to work this out, or at least until my neighbor gets his letter to the petition court, so we can go ahead and tear it down. I've already got the price to demo the building, in fact, the current price on it. I'm ready to go. No one wants it torn down more than my wife and I. But there's nothing legally we can do right now. I've talked to 3 different attorneys. Someone's trying to do something.
This, for citizens' comments, this is way beyond, he's asking for some action about the council or by, but being you're here, you brought it up, and I don't see why we can't sit down with him and work something out. I mean, it makes sense to me. Dick, is there something wrong? It is pretty obvious that the gentleman is tied up. I don't know.
Yeah.
It seems like that should be something that should be done right over in your office instead of here.
Yes, sir. That's the first we've heard of that court date that coming up as well. And we have a meeting set with the special master this week to kind of go over some options. He mentioned the other case, the next door neighbor. They had the wrong address on the Bay County property appraisers where it was mailed to. We got the corrected address and sent it to him as well. That does not change the due date for this event. So if I have some direction from the council, we'll be glad to work with the special master and then to go forward. Is that?
Well, I can't imagine after hearing that.
That's new information.
I mean, that's what we've been doing since the storm. I mean, we've been working with people trying to help.
That's new information. And
What's new information?
The November 15th court date was the first I've heard of that. So.
Okay. Well, I'm suggesting for me that you get a meeting with our sit-down meeting with our city administrator, and y'all work out something that's now that we've proceeded into this fine and this, and we know your circumstances. It just seems like to me we got to be able to come to some agreement here. Is that the council's wishes? I don't know why.
I've known about it for a while. He can't do it.
That's what I'm talking about. Why don't you y'all get together and work something out? How about that? And we get it. I mean, the council's position is we need to get it worked out so that you aren't faced with this. I mean, come on.
Do you want the solution to come back to the council for approval, or are you content with staff?
No, we've got issues all over this city. We need to work. We need to. This is here at this meeting. Doesn't need to be. It needs to be over there in that office with the understanding of your circumstances, and let's find a solution to it. I mean, that's what we've been doing.
This is the first one to come back from that special master, so I appreciate that.
Well, we need to
Just
also communicate with the gentleman.
General background, not to one specific case, but to some other cases that have occurred and others that may be occurring in the future. So the special master process it's an appeal process that you request as a property owner. And back in February, the city initiated a few of those hearings just because they were the first time the special master had worked on cases. But the progression of the way things have gone now, the way the staff's handling things, unless there is specifically a request for a hearing by the property owner, the city's not initiating those hearings, so that's the reason why a letter appeared stating the fines will probably occur.
No, the gentleman can't do it. We're used to dealing with single property owners, single properties. This guy can't do it.
I know. I'm not really addressing the specifics of that situation. I just mean there may be some other citizens that will say something along the lines of, I just got a letter that said there's a large fine and where did this come from? This is out of the blue. And the reason for that is the letters providing the appeal rights were sent quite a while ago. And now the city is beginning to assess fines. And if that's not a process that you think is the right way to do things in the city, think it over and provide some direction to us if you want to provide more, another shot at an appeal.
I just want to fix this. I don't want to do anything. For me, I'm not looking to try to
I understand.
anything. This isn't the big fix. It's just sit down and talk to the guy and understand what's going on.
We suggested he come for a public comment, so thank you very much, sir.
We'll take care of that.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. And y'all wait for Raymond Doug, get his name and number.
I don't know,
I'll back.
yes, sir.
Okay. All right, citizens' comments, others. Okay. Moving on. I'm gonna comment out of turn. Sunday was the anniversary date of Michael, and it was a wonderful event down at Killer Seafood. I want to thank everyone, especially Matt Larson and his group, for putting that on. The State Director, DEM, Department of Emergency Management, Kevin Guthrie was here, and the ACDC group, Melissa, Dina, Rodney, all were there. It was good to see our community again come together and just show the strength of who we are, and I appreciate everyone that participated. Okay. Debbie, you on the phone? We're asleep.
Should be.
Debbie, you there?
Yeah.
She's there.
I'm here, I'm going to figure out how to unmute myself.
You just want to say anything about
You're up mute. All right, we have our reports in front of us, and you're up.
Okay, so, did everybody get a copy of the report?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay, just to summarize, this is through 9/30/2021, as far as the cash goes. It's going to be, it's unaudited, so it's going to change, but it gives you a really kind of good snapshot of where we are. We're getting the 5% reimbursement in pretty fast as far as some of the bigger projects. So I'm reallocating this back to the departments and the funds that they're for, like for sewer lift stations. So the $1 million you see in a deficit on page 3 for the cash on the sewer fund, that is going to be going away. Very similar to where we did with water fund. We're now at a positive cash for water. We're $1 million in the hole previously because, again, we're reallocating this project back to the proper funds. So that's the biggest takeaway from the report, is that things are still in motion. We're still reporting all of these FEMA reimbursements to the correct funds. In regards to other tasks going on, we had a change of auditors. The same firm, but a new person, a new auditor is going to be handling our annual audit. So we're a slower process than I thought we would be. I thought we were further along, but he's getting up to speed on where we are. So we have a tentative completion date for January 31st, 2022 for the fiscal year 2020 audit. Then we'll prepare and get ready for the 2021 audit, which should start around April of 2022. So by September of next year, I hope we're all caught up in everything and we don't have to worry about talking so much about the past. So I give the end of year revenue and expenditure total on page 2. Again, that's going to change because Hurricane Michael is in some of the revenues and the expenses, and as each one's reconciled, each project, that number is going to change because we actually have a Hurricane Michael fund. So that's going to take away from all these numbers and be more in line with what our budgeted numbers are in actual to date. Some of my tasks on page 4, bank reconciliation in February 2021. Now that the budget process is over, I should pick up the pace on the bank reconciliation. Everything's been submitted back to the state. Tammy made sure that she got everything sent off, so we're good with the state, county, and the state of Department of Revenue. As I mentioned, the FEMA reconciliation is still going through, where we're doing deposits back to the project and then invoices back to the project as well, so we can reconcile and see where we are on the books. fiscal year 20 audit, I mentioned that. Fiscal year 21, I'm actively working on closing. Mary's still posting invoices to the prior year. So once that's complete, I'll be able to start doing my adjusting entries for that year. And then some of the stuff I've been working on with Doug, we reviewed the internal control policy when I was on site because that was the finding for our fiscal year 19 audit, and so we're having to finalize that to make sure we don't get run for that again. And then finally, Doug wants to do some electronic approvals, paperless kind of thing. So Mary and I are working on processes for that, and so then instead of having him sign a piece of paper, he'll actually just approve electronic POs and invoices. So, any questions?
No. For me, it's very pleasing to see this type of report. You're doing good. Very thorough.
Okay, if there's any questions, just feel free to let me know.
Okay. Debbie, while you're on the phone, are there any questions from anybody? I guess this is a good time. I want to take just a minute. At the last meeting, I made some comments concerning enterprise fund money and general fund money. And I think when I went back and looked at that tape, I made some comments that weren't exactly right. And I want to correct myself, as well as the people from the gas station were talking about their 25% monies that would go into the enterprise funds. Well, our enterprise funds here, based on our rate structures, have always been to cover the cost of our many businesses, if you would, water, sewer, and sanitation. We've never transferred funds, excess funds, or profits, if you want to use that word, from those enterprise funds to the general fund. So, if I came across as if you couldn't do it, I was wrong. You can commingle your monies. It's been our philosophy here, and I guess managing practices, that the transparency of our budgets are based on what we tell people what they see. Rate structures define how much income we bring in to support water, sewer, and sanitation. Ad valorem tax defines what we take in addition to those other small revenues that come in, define our budget for general fund. To say that we couldn't do that, I was wrong. We could do it. It's something this city has never done. If you do that on windfall years where you maybe don't have let's say you don't have the expenses that you projected to have in water, sewer, and sanitation, yes, you can show a profit. We've always kept those as rainy day funds because we've always kept our rate structures at a point that paid the bills. We don't inflate the rate to offset general fund revenue. So for those of you that were here, those of you that heard what I said, it can be done. It's something this city has never done. Debbie, is that fair enough synopsis?
Right. Just want to clarify. The enterprise fund can use, that's true for enterprise fund, but the general fund, you can't. So just want to make sure that there's that distinction between the type of funds. And I just want to also add, I would never recommend it. In a pinch maybe, but as a general policy, I would not recommend subsidizing the general fund with enterprise fund money. Only because, like you said, it's a business and you need to make sure that you have money to replace infrastructure and for future replacements, your rate structure, your bonds, all of that can come the components that you need separated. And so that's my suggestion.
Okay. Moving on. Thank you, Debbie. Appreciate it. All right, Sandy, you're up.
Morning, everybody. Good morning, Council. Those letters went out in the utility bills, those of you who have properties here in the city, in regards to your smoke detectors and those key boxes. We've had a lot of feedback already. We're going to be going to at least 6 or 7 houses to put in your key boxes. and numerous houses asked us to do smoke detectors. So that is still ongoing. If anybody else wants it done, please call us. We're more than happy to come and help. We had a bit of fun the other day with the water department. They hadn't had any training on their SCBAs for a while, which is the breathing apparatus, similar to what we use, that they would use if they had a chlorine leak. We ran them all through that and had them walking around outside for the first time, some of them using their SCBAs. So that was fun for both fire department and the water department, and got the required training that was necessary for the water department. And we're also doing maintenance on the key boxes we put in last year. So if you do see a fire department member at your house where you have a key box, but you're not at home, your neighbour says we were there, we were just checking your key box, just to make sure that it's all working and everything is good to go. So other than that, it is business as usual. We're doing our maintenance of hydrants and so on and so forth as we do all the time. So if anybody has any questions.
Thank you, Sandy. Sheriff's Department report.
Well, Martin couldn't be here today, but he made up some numbers up for me so I can read them off to y'all. And provided y'all a copy of it. It's got this year's, it's got last year's, this same time, and then, year to date. So this year we had 133 calls for service in September, 10,000 miles patrolled, traffic stops 29, citations 7, warnings 23, arrests 4, and traffic crashes 4. So other than that, it's been a good month. Not a whole lot going on. We did have a golf cart stolen the other day, but it was returned, so don't know what happened there.
They just borrowed it.
We borrowed it.
It didn't run.
Don't be that.
Ran out of gas.
Thank Martin for a good report.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Marty.
Appreciate it. Questions for police? All right. Ms. Gina?
Good morning. After our August and September slowdown, we've picked up again at the building department. We've got 6 new residential structures this month. So we're on track to our roughly 15 a month that we've been averaging since the storm.
There you go. Yeah, be careful what you say. Things happen, don't they? All right. Any questions? I think it's been long enough that we need to recognize that Bo Creel has come to visit with us. Bo is the owner and chief operator of EPCI, and his longtime friend and fellow worker of City of Mexico Beach. Bo, it's good to have you here, and welcome back.
And thank you. It's my pleasure to have been of service to the city since 2004. So, and we hope we'll stay that much longer. I don't know that I'll be here that much longer. But we thank you.
Well, thank you for coming and showing up. Any questions for Billy? I have one only because I get asked. It's on the highway right here at the end of 20, I've been here 7 years, on the 21st Street. The house that's right across from the Driftwood Inn. I see the dumpsters are there. I see, is that house being torn down or being repaired?
Repaired. They have applied for a remodel permit and they've been granted that. So it should be under repair.
Okay, gotcha. All right, thank you. Do we have a code report?
I can pass that along.
Okay.
So Kathy's working on a little more automation from her stuff. We're working with some office staff to kind of help her with some administrative work so she can be out in the field working with the homeowners a little bit more to try to get them in compliance. And we're moving forward with several items that have been kind of some blights, and we're getting them cleaned up. So she told me to pass that along, and she's actively working towards that. She's also been a part of the Bay County has a code enforcement group. She's going to work with them, help get some training, kind of, so she doesn't have to recreate the wheel here. So she's learning some training classes and things of that nature. So we're getting moving forward.
Awesome. Do you know, or we, Nick mentioned it earlier, but we have cases that have gone to the special master?
Yes, sir.
And we're waiting those hearing dates?
Yes, sir. Well, with the direction that we just received, another one was the house you just mentioned on 21st, which had gone to the special master, but they have since got their permit, so we're meeting with the special master this week to kind of clear that one up, as well as the 2 houses that are connected.
But the whole goal is to get cleaned up. It's not
Yeah,
find people, it's not to do that. I just was wondering has our new special master had any hearings?
They We're not hearing, so the process we have is if nobody requests the hearing, the appeal hearing, the file is sent to the special master to review to make sure that it has basic evidence in it, meets basic due process, has the notices, and at that point, he completes the order that concludes the fine. That's what's occurred on several properties. And what I was kind of hinting at earlier is that will probably happen some more because very few people actually request any hearings. And what's going to, what people are going to see and notice is that some of the fines will be relatively high because the prolonged time period of no action led to the maximum fine. It's a day-by-day fine, 20 days maximum. So whatever that initial fine is, $50, $100, it gets multiplied by 20. It gets relatively large. So that's on the horizon for some folks.
And I mentioned earlier, we have an appointment with the special master on Friday this week. We're setting it up for Nick, myself, with Dana, as well as Tammy and Julie would be there, and Kathy, so we can all be on the same page of the process order and mailing out of the documents, and so we're actively moving forward.
Public Works?
Good morning, Council. After several months, I'm happy to say that we are just about completed the street sign replacement. We're probably 99%. I think we got a few more bus stop signs to put up, and we're going to call that a done deal. So I want to say thanks to the road department guys and some of the public works and utility department for their help to get all these put back up. Long time coming, but we got it. So also want to let everyone know that the sidewalk project that FDOT is working on for us is about 80% completed. Would have been done, but the rain kind of slowed them down. They're down now pretty much in front of the hardware store. They got a little bit more, and that'll be completed. All the sidewalks will be back 100%. Once that's done, they're going to start working on the road shoulders. The sand's built up. They're going to cut all that down for us. So that's going to help also. Probably noticed around City Hall we started trimming some of the palm trees. Maintenance crews are going to get those all trimmed up down at 7th Street Park, down on the canal. Start now trying to get some of it cleaned up and looking a little better. Also, I don't see Rock here. I haven't seen him in a while, but I've got a little update on our lighting. I've been working with Duke Energy to get our lighting replaced throughout the city. I was on the phone this morning with them. So that is moving forward, getting everything that was put back prior to the storm back where it's supposed to be. FDOT spoke with them again last week about the crosswalks. The only thing we're waiting on is the solar flashing lights. Once they get those, then they'll come in and put the crosswalks in for us. So I guess it's probably a good time during the winter months anyway, so we don't have all the summer traffic out here. Sanitation-wise, so far this month, for the month of October, we picked up 79,286 pounds of garbage. Other than that, Public Works is carrying on grass cutting, stuff as usual. Any questions?
I got one thing on top.
Yes, sir.
We get to notice some things. And I did not notice for a long time the Charlie Parker Memorial sign at the bridge was laid on the ground. Well, I said something to Tommy. Tommy jumped right on it, went to the DOT. DOT saw the sign and said these need to be replaced. Now we got them back up. It's just one little bitty thing that it's a difference, but it makes a difference to this city, to me, and to other people around it. Thank you, Tommy.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, Glenn?
Good morning. Good morning. Taking a handout of the utility report in September. That's the September utility summary. Staff working hard and working with vendors to try to get best price and best repair we can for the high service pump number 2 in the water room. Hope to have have someone lined up before the end of the month. That may be a little optimistic, but we're shopping around. The original price is pretty high. Sandy again trained us on the SCBA's, and we also have a class schedule in about 6 weeks that our people, and I think the fire department will be a part of it too, to properly use the chlorine emergency kit. That's a big deal. We're working on the cross-connection control program, specifically the consent order. We've got a couple of dates coming up. I think they're tentative, but until it's changed, until they issue the final revised consent order from DEP, we've got a couple of dates we're looking at, and there's about 60 that are in non-compliance. Now, that number 60, we've looked, and there's some of them that have complied, but we've got to go back in, and we pretty well put hands on them, looked at all of those. One of the things that I wanted to mention to you, I've looked at the ordinance and everything, and it looks pretty well. I wanted to include you in looking at it as to what we do. One of the things that we've got is the next letter we sent out, and we're prepared to send that now. We've already sent a couple of letters out, and some have complied, some have not. But we need to set a deadline, and since our deadline is December the 31st, 2021 on 2 of those issues, the 6 in one, another 6 non-residential dedicated irrigation service connections without proper backflow, and 53 non-residential backflow assemblies not tested. We have 3 other deadlines, but they're all June of next year. We've got a little time to work on this. But what I'm going to ask you, my proposal is to turn the water off to non-compliant customers. In the cases where we may have to, if we turn it back on, we have to pull the meter. And one of the options I'd like you to look at is the possibility of having the MacFlow devices installed by a professional that's certified in installing those things, and maybe you, the city, pass the cost on to the customer. But I'd just like to know your wishes about this. We really need to send a letter out and get on this if we want to make that deadline, if we can, by December 31st. And I said this, we set our deadline November 30th. That gives us a month to be sure and get everybody in compliance before we're found in non-compliance.
Glenn, would you, what you're asking of us, I'm sorry, I want to make sure I
I
understand.
just want to
What
be
is your
sure
question?
that you understand the deadline that we're faced with. And we need a little time to meet that deadline, to put it back on the customer. We've got to set them a deadline ahead of ours. That'll give us a month. But what I wanted to know from you is, we turn off the water, that's pretty well standard. Anybody not compliant stuff. If we have to pull a meter, but we've got to come to this. We've got to meet the cross-connection control program consent order. And at some point, they're going to have to install those things if they have these devices, whether it be for irrigation, dedicated fire, whatever, multiple story buildings, they're considered commercial. On that note, you might note that commercial buildings are required to be tested once a year. Residential, that have RPs, RPZs, and double checks, they're required every other year, every 2 years. But my thing to you is, I want to know what your plans would be. You want to have...
Do we have a policy?
The basic reconnect is, I think, $15. So if we were to shut it off, for a commercial business, it's not very much heat. And if we were going to install that backflow preventer, what is it, $250 for the equipment approximately?
It depends on what size, there's a lot of variables in there.
So if we were to pass that back on to the business, that's option 1. Option 2 is hit them with a fine and make them come into compliance. I think he's just trying to make you more aware that we're up against a deadline at the end of this year, and we're sending out letters to people in compliance. But at some point, we're going to upset some folks by coming out for water to get it in compliance. So we're going to bring back a solution. It's just more of an update for the council. Plus, it's on the live on TV, so they know these letters are coming out and pay attention to them.
So will the city ultimately get in trouble on December 31st if this hasn't occurred?
Yeah, 3 years ago we were in trouble before the storm, and they fined us $1,500 because we didn't properly notice it. And I was able to get them to retract that because of everything that happened to us in the last 3 years. And so that part of them retracting that was that we would become into compliance. So we set that date at the end of the year, probably last month sometime. So we've been working with several to get to that number of 53 and 6. So Garrett and Glenn and his team are chipping away at those, but at some point, we're gonna have to move forward with some disconnects and things like that. And it's not much of a penalty for disconnecting $15 to pay to turn it back on.
But do we have a policy that says this is what we do?
In our policy, it says the customer shall be responsible for installation, inspection, testing, and maintenance of any backflow protection required at or for a service connection from the community water system, including dual check required at service connection. So it's pretty well written out, but if they don't comply, we're pretty well, we need to make a decision. Do we permit to it, or do you want the guys, when it gets hire somebody to come in there and bill it back to the customer? I just didn't want you guys to be blindsided with this coming up.
The city has an ordinance on this topic. It was probably adopted 3 or 4 years ago. It was something the city reluctantly did at the time. The state pretty much said we had to. As far as the policy of dates and how quickly the things happen, I don't think we have that. That's what the staff's at.
So, we as a council need to just know that people will get the water cut off if they don't have the RPZ or the backflow preventer or whatever.
Check, RP, whatever.
Whatever's got. I mean, I don't.
We may bring some possible solutions back, but it's more of a FYI for the council.
Okay.
Okay, so, citizens will know, if they had a backflow put on, I've seen now where it looks like a pipe goes up above or whatever. Okay, if they didn't have that, is the backflow still good?
If the
If
back,
they had it put on before you had to have the pipe that goes up.
the current law requires if you've got an RPC, you've got, or an RP, or a dual check, not dual check, double check. Dual check is the one that goes in the service line below the ground. Everything else has to be elevated at least 12 inches above the ground and higher than the lowest outside faucet.
Okay, so those that don't have that, they have to do that now? Or?
Yes, sir. If they don't have a backflow,
Well, they got backflows already there before that was changed. And if it's checked and it's good, it's still good?
if it's the proper type of backflow and it's been tested and it's a recent test, it's good. Yes, sir.
Okay, so it still need to be tested every 2 years?
That's for commercial.
Oh, commercial?
That's residential.
Commercial is 1 year. Residential every 2 years. But
Okay.
it's not dual check. Dual check, which is underground, they don't require testing on those. Double check and RPs and RPZs, that type of thing. It's kind of confusing. I'm sorry.
They're welcome to, the residents are welcome to call the utility department. We can kind of help them.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Any comments or questions? Okay. Glenn, thank you, appreciate it. Dave, you're up.
First, I want to say, Mr. Jerry, welcome back. I
Oh,
enjoyed my
sure.
vacation. We submitted the FEMA-funded stormwater repairs to Doug in the conference room a couple weeks ago. I haven't heard any objection to those, so we're going to move forward with the bidding. We should get to the city the bid advertisement hopefully this week and probably have the bid date sometime in November. And other than that, I've been working with Doug and Tommy going to the city. I think Doug's got, working on several task orders, forthcoming. That's it.
Okay. Sunset Park,
Still on, waiting for the DEP, my emails and phone calls.
I'm afraid that was answered.
Unresponded.
How about my part?
That's one of the task orders that's coming. I'm waiting for a fee from the architect for the bathroom.
That part, I better go.
All right, and the park canal, is it proceeding? Well, at the end of the canal, the pavilion.
Oh, yes.
I'm sorry, the bathroom and I know that's a portable facility that we've ordered for that, but what about the pavilion?
They're putting shop drawings together now for it, so they're moving forward with it.
Okay. So when we issued the notice to proceed on the marina, it included the pavilion, or did we pull that out?
No, included.
Okay.
He's working today. They down it.
No? Okay. Question for Dewberry? David, thank you. Okay, moving to our regular agenda.
Fine.
Tammy forgot to put me
I
on
forgot.
there.
I forgot mine.
I'm blaming Tammy.
All
I
right.
walked up. I tried to get up there quick. Sorry. All right, I think as most of you guys know, first thing on our list, we're starting to get moving on the dredge. We've had kickoff meeting with Crowder Golf. You guys know last meeting, we got the task order issued to them. We kicked off with Eisman as well to do the monitoring on that. And we got another meeting set up tomorrow just to get everybody together on the same page to start moving that forward. So obviously we haven't started doing any of the work yet, but that's coming down the pipe soon. So that's good news. I couldn't remember if I told you guys last time I was here. We did get the scope amendment request into FDEM to change our sand bypassing project over to buying the dredge. So we have to now wait on that to get feedback, but that's submitted to them, and they'll go through the scope amendment process to give approval on that. I think we should be in good shape on that, but we'll have to wait until we get word back from them on that. We submitted a reimbursement package for several of the A&E projects. They had mentioned previously the A&E projects, several of the larger ones, we split out the architectural and engineering costs into separate projects. So that's things like Dewberry's time, designing things like the jetty, the pier, the marina, things like that. So we're getting, part of the idea behind that was that then we can get the reimbursements more quickly, so we've been getting those in as their invoices have been coming in on that. So about $100,000 request package for that so far. On the jetty, good news on that. I think last time I was here, I mentioned we were just trying to finalize. We had FEMA agreed to everything on the scope, and they agreed with our benefit cost analysis and all that. In the end, that added an additional $1.3 million to our jetty project, which is great. We got everything we wanted in the scope. So we're really happy about that, and now that project is officially moving on to the insurance review and environmental review queues. Similarly on the pier project, that one was a little less intense. We didn't have to do the BCA because we're asking for so little in mitigation, but we did get some additional scope items added into that, including breakaway decking and octagonal piles, which will take the force of the waves more easily and make the bridge or the pier stronger overall. So that's all set now as well, which is great news, and that project is now also moving on to the insurance and environmental reviews. Both of those, just a note, it probably will take a while to get those through environmental reviews. That's normally not quick, and those are both projects out over open water, so there'll definitely be some scrutiny, I guess, looking over those projects. Then the last one I had on here was the municipal complex, the last of our public assistance projects. We're still waiting for FEMA on that last submittal that we gave them. They have told us that they're hoping, basically what they're going to do is they're going to issue a determination memo, which basically is them outlining, here's the things we think are eligible, here's the things we think are ineligible as part of that scope. And it's up to you guys now. If you now disagree with us, we're not going to have any further conversations. You're going to have to appeal this up to the region. So they said they're hoping to get that out in the next 2 to 3 weeks. I don't know.
Could you say that again, please?
Next 2 to 3 weeks, or the
No,
part beforehand?
what is being set up?
It's called a determination memo. Basically, they in that memo will outline the pieces of the scope that they think are eligible and the parts that they think are not eligible under the public assistance program. At that point, we'll have an understanding of what essentially they're giving us in the scope and what they're not.
When did we get this notification?
We have not gotten it yet. I'm saying in the next 2 to 3 weeks, they're saying that they will be issuing that.
They're just putting us on notice that we are going to get it.
That yes, they've given us notice that we are going to receive that memo. Exactly.
She was pretty good on the phone with us last week when she said that. It seemed like it had moved from one department to the other, and as of the end of the month, of September, we're actively working on it, so it seemed like it was moving, but.
She said 2 to 3 weeks. Yeah. I mean, I never trust them all the way on that. I feel like it tends to take a little longer, so I'd say it's probably going to be like a month, but that's the next step for us, is that when we get that memo, we're going to look at it and see, you know, kind of the extremes of it is, if they give us everything, we're going to look at that memo and say, okay, great, like you gave us everything, it's all eligible. If they give us, you know, absolutely nothing, and they only give us a really small piece and we think they missed by, you know, a mile, then we may consider, and this will be a discussion we'll all want to have as a city, is, you know, do we want to go through the appeal process? Because the appeal process will send it up to the FEMA region to do a review, and that's an arduous process, I guess I would say. It's not an easy one. So my guess is it's going to come up somewhere in between, and we'll have to look at kind of the balance of how much work we want to put into doing an appeal versus we've got potential other funding sources.
Did they respond to that?
That's what the
report.
That's what the
that we
determination.
sent. There was what, 50 pages or whatever.
That the determination memo is what their response is going to be. So they're going to say, we looked over your 160-page response. Based on our review of that, here's what we're giving you. So that one is obviously still our one hanging on project. I think we've got the pier and the jetty kind of shoved off and are moving along now, which is good news. But we're down to just that one last public assistance project with the municipal complex. Some other good news. I mentioned the last meeting that we were getting ready to get our CDBG-DR application submitted for the infrastructure round 2 and for the HMPP match. We got all those in, so now we'll wait. I think last time during the first infrastructure round, it took them probably 4 or 5 months before they started awarding. So we'd probably be looking at a similar time frame is my guess on that. But those are in, and we'll see what we get out of it. And then we also got awarded our second HMGP project, made it through the review queues. That was for sewer bypass pumps, and that was around $200,000. So that was good. We got the award, but we still have to do a bunch of administrative stuff like signing the grant agreement and contractual documents with the state before we actually can proceed with that. So we'll be keeping on the lookout for that from them. And once we get that, we can start working on that project. That was all I had. Any questions or anything?
Yeah, on the dredge. We've sent that request up to have that money reallocated on the actual dredge.
The dredging machine. Yeah.
You have a spec sheet that was comprised by the city staff of what we would be looking for.
Yeah, that was part of the request that we sent.
Okay, is it, instead of waiting, while we have to wait for them, could we go ahead and prepare something to be ready to bid?
You could, yeah. I mean, so this is all about how much risk you guys are willing to take on. I think that my feeling is we have a really good chance that scope amendment will go through and that they'll say, you know, good to go. And that money's been allocated for us because it's a 428 project. So the risk on you guys' side is that FEMA could come back and say, no, you can't do that. And then you would have already kind of started down the path. So I think it's a relatively small risk, but I don't want to say that there's no risk and that you guys can just do it.
Well, the option is that what we have isn't going to last.
Yeah. The actual
So
machine.
with FEMA or without FEMA's blessing, the city's going to have to do. We can't close our eyes to what's happening down there with that piece of machinery.
Yeah.
So for me, I would rather, and it's just say they say no, we're not going to allocate it.
Yeah.
Well, then we're going to have to get busy doing something different.
Yeah, and from that standpoint, you're right. Like, there's no risk in terms of. I know a lot of grants do have like period performances where they say you can't start doing anything on it until this. You guys have already been obligated this
We've got to do something.
So you wouldn't have any risk.
Sit and wait on them, it's not something I'm comfortable with.
Yeah, yeah.
And only because the machine has got, we've got to find, we got to do something anyway.
Yeah, if you feel like you're going to do it anyway, then I would say there's nothing from the FEMA side that makes me think you wouldn't then somehow, like that you would get ineligible for that funding. Like that scope amendment's going to go through, and if it goes through on the backside after you've already started working.
How does the council do? We have a spec.
We don't have a choice.
Well, I didn't think we did either, but to continue to wait for word from them, the spec sheet's prepared, all we need to do is put something out, and building dredges, there's not a lot of people that do that.
Right.
To begin with, but, I'd like to see us move forward with it exercising what we ultimately gonna have to do anyway.
Well, it only goes to confirm the fact that we really need one.
I mean, hadn't been for Troy, I don't know how many people could have band-aid that thing together now.
Right, exactly.
That's about the best I've ever seen him do.
I guarantee you. So, Doug, I'd like to see us pursue, if we can get something together, use our spec sheet, get it in a form to put out an RFQ and see what's out there.
There's a chance that we can work
Or really more of a bid, not an RFQ.
It's probably a bit, but
Yeah, it's just a bid package.
There's a chance I could probably go through the Florida Association of Sheriffs, that they have that, where you could, they did a lot of that kind of stuff, so we'll work on that stuff.
Well, let's just see what we're looking at.
Yes, sir.
Is that good with everyone?
Good for me.
Okay. Questions for Atkins? Ryan, thank you. Appreciate it.
Mayor, as we move on to these 4 planning hearings, if it's okay with you, I'd like to swear in folks in the audience who may want to speak. Since there's 4 separate hearings, we'll just do it all at once to keep it simple. This would be for any of the applicants, the applicant's agents, or any of the members of the audience who may want to speak to these items. Just to summarize what's about to happen, we have 4 planning hearings. One is the preliminary plat approval for Town Village Phase 1. That's the first St. Joe residential subdivision piece. Then related to that, the next hearing would be the development order request for the same project for Town Village Phase 1. And then there are 2 hearings that relate to 611 Maryland Boulevard. The first is a variance request for a front side setback, and the second is, it's titled a replat request, but it's really to shift the line between 2 lots to make one lot a little bigger, one lot a little smaller. So if you think you may want to speak on any of those 4 hearings today, please raise your right hand, and after I give you verbiage, say I do. If you think you may speak today on any of these 4 matters, do you promise to tell the truth and the whole truth in anything that you present? All right. Anybody else? Okay.
All right. Moving to number 1 is the preliminary plat for the Town Village Phase 1. Public hearing is open for anyone here that has come to speak on the plat approval. Anyone here? There you go.
We will have to figure out the logistics here. Better on this side or the other side?
Well, I cannot see you at all.
Oh, yeah. Okay, as Nick mentioned, this is for the first phase of the single-family residential subdivision for the St. Joe Company. It was previously, the PUD master plan was previously approved by this council along with a couple of previous development orders. What I have here is kind of the approved PUD master plan that's been kind of updated with some information just to show, grayed out previous phases, but what's really important here is this red outline. This is the phase that we are speaking to or addressing here. Can you point that out here? Right here. So this is just west of the first phase of the townhomes that are currently under construction. It's north of Highway 98, and it is west of Salt Creek. 32 units. It's got its own self-contained stormwater treatment lift station that's going to tie in
where the townhomes lift station tied in previously. Also, as part of the PUD requirements, there was a requirement to provide recreational space for the public. So as part of this, in addition to the 32 residential units, we're proposing a roughly 1.5 acre park. I think it comes out to 1.54 acres or something along those lines. It is going to be dedicated for public use, but it's going to be HOA maintained. So the cost of maintenance and everything is going to be on the HOA, but it is going to be open for the public to access and use. So that's kind of the gist of the project from a high level. If anybody has any questions.
Does everybody have a copy of the actual plat document for approval, not the full budget?
Yeah, well,
I think we all.
I think everybody's got it.
So these are the residential home section.
Correct. And this is the first phase of the single-family residential that has been proposed.
The grading that you've gotten done on the phase that started going is right next to it.
Correct.
Is this one going to get graded roughly the same as that one?
That's correct. It's going to tie in, flood zone elevations kind of drove the grading on that. So where the townhome site that you currently have, we're going to tie our roadway into that entrance roadway that they've already started kind of building the bed for going up. So it's going to tie in directly to the west of the townhome phase.
Okay. And can you point the park out?
The park is this piece you see here. And it should be shown on the very first page of the plat document that you have. It's to the far right.
Common area?
That's right.
Park, okay.
What happened to phase one with Home Corp that's been in the making when we started this?
It's still going. It's just they haven't started. I don't think they've officially started construction on it yet. I don't know. Let's see. I think actually we provided a little bit of an update in this document that we provided to the city. Anticipated time frame. No, that's phase two of the design.
And that was to be phase one.
Correct. It is. We have the release for construction plans. The process is moving forward. I think that there's just some logistics back and forth with being a joint venture and all the parties getting ready to roll. But I think that they're getting ready to start construction on that here pretty quick. Gina, do you have an update on that?
Yeah, they have submitted all their plans. They've been fully approved. They're ready to be permitted. We have it sitting there waiting. But they told us they were, again, like Chris said, waiting on some logistics to work out before they actually come pick that permit up.
Yeah.
I was just curious where we were going to get at, because that was the big talk for so long.
Sure.
And then all of a sudden it went radio silence.
Absolutely. And the reason that the townhomes kind of got started before that is because that is not a joint venture. So there's not as much, coordination between the parties needed.
Okay.
How much involved are y'all on getting us that other little road that we talked about, the entranceway? Are y'all involved in that?
Yeah, so we provided, per ordinance 741, that was kind of reported about the same time we were talking about this master plan agreement or document. That was one of the items that St. Joe said that they were going to explore possibilities of, benefits to the city that were here. We put together, so along with the apartments, the crossings, driveway, which is in the alignment with the current boat ramp access road, and the townhomes entrance road access to DOT. We originally submitted those two as separate driveway applications, along with putting together all the engineering and permitting documents for an alternate boat ramp access road, as discussed. DOT required us to combine those all into one application, and we went through a couple of requests for additional information with, dimensioning and proposed improvements to 98. And basically the last two times going back to the Department of Transportation, they said, we don't feel like this additional driveway meets the spacing requirements to be allowed. We tried to present the information to them in a way that, with design speeds and such, that might be something that they could approve or allow. And then they finally came back and said, this does not meet the requirements, please remove this driveway access. So DOT blocked us on that and basically said that driveway connection would not be allowed.
Did they tell you what they would do?
They just said that they wouldn't, because of the proximity of the bridge to the other driveway access connection, there's not a location in that range that would meet the consecutive driveway spacing requirements.
So how far was that from the entrance that you got going in? It was going to be how close to it? Roughly.
I try to remember just kind of off the top of my head. I think it was spaced roughly 450 feet away or 400 feet away or something along those lines. From the current boat ramp access road, which is what's being used for the entrance to the apartments.
Okay.
I requested Bridget to give us a formal denial, and we haven't received that today from DOT.
And then their process, they didn't, because they asked us to combine the three into one application, they did not give us a formal denial. They basically, that was the last item for approval of those combined applications. And basically they said, this has to be removed in order to approve this application. We did not push the issue and tell them, well, then, please deny all of these three driveways. We could request a statement stating that it would not be approved, but I'm not sure how comfortable a state agency would feel putting that in writing without.
Well, they evidently don't know anything about snap receipts. And I'm not trying to be flippant about it, but it's really critical that we get that other drive. And is there any, in your mind, is there any way that we can do something else that's a little further away from the bridge for them, or what?
Well, we will have.
Can we not widen yours and put like an immediate turn lane that goes toward the ramp rather than going into your project?
Oh, that is absolutely the case. That is the design. That is the layout. As you come off of 98, this is the proposed future connection coming into the boat ramp expansion, which they've already worked out. Kind of the ground lease area for that 2.29 acres. But we are maintaining this existing driveway coming into the existing boat ramp, our parking area. So there will be this immediate turn coming into here, as well as this access coming into here for the future expansion.
And how wide is that road on the entrance right there? Going into that part.
Here, it's going to be.
No, I'm talking about off the state road.
Here,
the larger road. Yeah, the larger road where it ties into 98.
2, 3.
It's a regular two lane.
Yeah, but you're gonna have it split. It's gonna be 2 lane for maybe 1 lane for the in and 2 lane for the out.
I mean, out of the realm of possibility that we could do a 2 lane in and one of them kind of pretty much designated as to the boat ramp.
Yeah, we could definitely look at that as an option, is to have it come off and have kind of a splinter off of the main road. It's just that's a pretty quick movement, but we can definitely look at that as having a secondary lane that basically becomes this access road there. As that's a possibility, since they're not allowing a second connection. We'll just modify the existing connection that they've approved.
Well, if you can do that and you can kind of look at how you could do that, I think it would help us.
Sure, absolutely.
Did FDOT's analysis on these multiple entrance points, did it assume that the speed limit would stay the same, or did they consider if the speed limit dropped and that still they said it would?
They consider it as currently posted, not modifying the speed limit that's currently posted. And as the way these things are kind of spaced out, they actually do have varying speeds, posted speeds, but it was considered as if the speed is to remain as currently posted.
So what is the speed at that entranceway? At that point, is it 55 already there?
Oh, no, here, no, it's already dropped to, I think it's dropped to 35 at that point. Now, up here towards the single-family residential, that's in that transition zone where you're going from 55, 45, 35.
That's what I was wondering, if
Right.
those speeds were adjusted, would that have any effect on this entrance analysis of DOT?
It very well might, but that was, like I said, they were analyzing it based on the current posted speed of the roadway.
Do you know how many feet the DOT requires between, you said 400 feet, roughly guesstimated, between, do you know the requirement? And I'm like Darrell, you don't know what snap season is, if we could move the road going into the boat ramp back this way a little bit, and move your road, goes into your construction site, that way a little bit, maybe we would have the distance between the two. Ours getting to our boat ramp would be very easy because it's not very far to it. Yours might be a problem, but we have, I don't know if we're going to have to go to DOT or what we're going to have to do, but that won't work. That will not work during snapper season or weekends. When yours gets going good and you have people going in and out, you have one road and 150 boats at 4 o'clock in the morning to lunchtime, the police will have a good time. I was wanting to see, I reckon, I don't know what we're going to do there.
Well, I mean, if he's going to look into the possibility of adding another end, which would essentially be our road, and it could be designated as such, this lane for boat canal or the boat parking at the ramp. I mean, it could be designated, it would be simple to designate as that.
Yeah, we can look at that, and we can look at the possibility of what the effect of changing the speed limit might be, if that's something that might be of interest to the city as a whole.
And it's a DOT road, so they would have
They would have the ultimate say.
But that section of the road is going to become more urban.
Right.
Well, and as urban goes, I don't know why they wouldn't drop that speed limit anyhow, because that's why we got 35 through ours, is we're very populated and we're adding population to that area there. It would seem logical that they're going to drop that speed limit anyhow. And if they do drop that, then maybe their requirements for their denial are not valid anymore.
That could reduce the spacing requirement. And to answer your question, I think just off the top of my head, I'd have to go back and look at the table.
I understand.
I think it's somewhere in the realm of 600 feet or something along those lines. But again, that's what I'll be looking directly at the table in the DOT manual that's this thick.
Chris, could you make yourself a note to look at, if we're not going to get another exit or entrance?
Mm-hmm.
If we widen that one and do what we've been talking about, if we see that in some form of how that would look?
I can definitely draw that up. I have that as a note, as well as I'm going to look and see what the effect posted speed would have.
And I know y'all are going to look at what's needed to get to y'all's development.
Mm-hmm.
Just look at what we're going to need to get out.
Sure. Understand.
Okay. Do we have other questions or comments concerning the public hearing? Did Bill reference? Chris, you have anything else?
No, I believe that pretty much covers everything for the 32 units in question for right now, but if there are any other questions, we'd be happy to answer.
All right, well then we're gonna close the public hearing, and we have before us a approval or denial of the Village Townhome Phase 1 plat.
As a reminder, this is a preliminary plat, so the process would be, if it's approved today, if the development order is approved, the contractor will get out on site, do some work, and then probably a few months from now, we'll see an application for final plat approval, which will have some final adjustments and necessitated by the conditions.
But it will resemble closely to what we
Yes,
would.
yes.
Okay, if there's any further discussion, we can entertain a motion.
I make a motion we approve preliminary plat for Town Village Phase 1.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Call the roll, please.
Mayor Kathy,
Here, yes.
Mr. Pollak,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Ms. Call,
Yes.
Mr. King.
Yes.
Okay, moving to the, development order, which has been submitted, it's in our packet. We have a request for approval based on, again, Town Village Phase 1. And this is the actual development order that is part of the process that has to be approved by the city. We'll open the public hearing, and you could almost push rerun on that whole discussion, but is there anyone here to speak on the development order? I assume you don't have any more to add to that, but if you do, if not, we're going to move on. All right, we're going to close the public hearing and move to the table for discussion or a motion.
There's no discussion. I'll make a motion that we approve the development order request for Town Village Phase 1 if there's no questions or discussion.
We have a motion and a second. Any comments? Call the roll, please.
Mayor Kathy?
Yes.
Mr. Pollak?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Call?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. And if you could, I don't know, coordinate with our administrator on some type of
We'll get an exhibit
proposal,
together first.
something for that roadway. You can tell that that's a big deal.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. All right, moving to, we have a variance request and a plat request. They're on the agenda separate, so we'll handle them separately. At 611 Maryland, we're going to open a public hearing for a variance request. I see that it was denied. Dick and/or Doug, do you have any thing for the record other than, I mean, we can read it, we know what it is, but is there anything about this that you want to add as part of the record? Go ahead.
They were just trying to stay consistent with what they had done in the past for the denial. The house is built. There is some measures in place now that Gina and her team have for the boundary surveys. We should not have this coming forward anymore now that we have that survey in place. There's one that was already underway, if that's correct.
No.
Not at all.
No. So what we have in place is a setback inspection that we do. We do not require a as-built survey or foundation survey. We require an inspection before you can move forward. And again, I've told you guys this before. That's not going to keep the problem from happening. It's going to catch the problem, and it's not going to keep it from coming to this council. It will catch it, but it's not going to keep it from coming here because they always have the option to bring it here for variance.
So that'd be before the fact.
It'd be before the fact.
This happened prior to us making that understanding with you, correct?
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay, because they called me about it and asked me, and I said, you know, you would have a lot more grief from us had it been after we had made that change, because, and I'm just going to publicly say, it's you're not paying attention. If you get your house in the wrong spot, from the very beginning, you really didn't pay very much attention, and it's really careless, in my opinion. I've built houses for a long time, and it's paramount that it gets put where it's supposed to be, and it should be square, plumb, and level, the foundation, so, anyhow. I gave him a total action, I know him. But
Thanks for the clarification. The variance request is specifically just for the front of the property because they tried to address the side issue with the upcoming refi. Is that correct? That it's 1 foot, is that right?
That's right.
Yeah, 1 foot. Now, according to the paperwork, that's what it says. It's a 1 foot front setback variance. You know,
same thing.
I don't know, Derry, you can't say it any better than what you said it. The problem, and we've tried to be lenient and understanding. And when you look at the option, what are we faced with? You know, just reality, what are you faced with?
Well, I think our options are going to be changed once everything after the fact that we've got something in place to prevent that, and then if they're just totally negligent or incapable of making those kinds of decisions, then they're going to be in a different kind of trouble, I think. Hopefully, even though they can still come for a variance, hopefully it's going to eliminate.
Yeah, it would be like Jim said, it would be before the fact.
Exactly.
This scenario wouldn't exist.
That's correct. More than likely.
Right. Well,
I mean, yeah.
It won't exist on foundation. It could exist on decks.
Correct.
It could exist on stairs.
Correct.
Things like that.
We can move that.
Well, and I don't mind speaking out as a councilman and saying that our desire to be lenient, or at least my desire to be lenient, is going to go way down once that part's done. Because if you build a deck or stairs or anything else over, that's just being careless and poor design. And that should be handled and can be handled and should be handled prior. Because I have all those experiences in those kinds of things. And to not do it is just being irresponsible. So just for everybody listening, make sure you don't put your walkways and your decks over the line anymore.
We've had them move many years.
Sir?
We've had them move many years.
Yeah, right, exactly.
There's a number of decks and stairs and things like that that never come to this council.
Yeah,
We
right.
catch them, they fix them, life goes on.
they hadn't come, but we've known about it. I can tell you.
Yeah, right, exactly. Right.
But kudos to the rules, it's like every lot of things. You end up spending a lot of time on 2% of the problems instead of the 98% of the ones.
Well, it's their job to deny this because it's not in.
Sure, I fully understand. So now it's to us. The request is for a 1 foot variance front. That's important to note. 1 foot front variance. The house is built. Floor is open for.
I'll make a motion if there's-
Hang on, let me just, for closing the public hearing, is there anyone here to speak on that? Okay, back to the table, go ahead there.
If there is no further discussion, I'll make a motion that we approve it reluctantly.
And I second.
All right, we have a motion second, any comments? Call the roll, please.
Mayor Cassie?
Yes.
Mr. Pollak?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Call?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Okay, that takes care of number 3. And then item 4 is a replat of the lot, which is in our packet, which shows how they're handling the side, where they're going to rearrange the property line because he owns both lots. So, is there anyone here to speak to that on part of the public hearing? All right, we're going to close the public hearing, move to the table. It's really pretty simple. He's changing the footage on the vacant lot to accommodate where there won't be a violation on the side setback.
It's simple, but I still got to voice my opinion on changing lots, doing stuff and then changing later. I'm not for stuff like that. People utilize this situation, and where you take maybe a foot here, a foot there, and a foot there, it builds up. I understand the problem here, but it's something that we really need to keep in mind on people changing this stuff around.
So noted, this is a vacant lot now. There's only one property, only one structure involved. The other lot is vacant, so it doesn't encroach or cause any, and when you go to get a building permit for the vacant lot, that lot line will be so noted where it is in the survey. Okay, motion.
I make a motion we use a replat request as well there.
611.
611.
Okay?
Second.
Have a motion second. Any comments? Call the roll, please.
Mayor Packard?
Yes.
Mr. Follett?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Call?
Yes.
Mr. Keith?
Yes.
Okay, now Nick, on the replat, following this origin or how does that get recorded? That has to be recorded.
In the clerk's office.
Yeah,
Not on the original, it's your replat.
that's right. If we look at it on our plat map, it's going to show both those lots the way they are today.
Correct.
But when you go to get a survey, will the survey show the new plat line? It should.
Yes.
Okay.
It'll be based on the legal description
Description.
filed with the clerk's office.
Okay.
When you say it's filed with the clerk's office, that's good. That would be great. Are you saying that will happen based on today's action or not until there's a new deed later on?
Once the surveyor actually brings, or once the applicant brings the survey document showing the legal description of both lots, the new legals, then that document will be taken to the clerk's office and be recorded.
Good. And whenever there's a need to do a title search, if there's a
Yes,
sale,
that's right.
they'll find that. That's it.
Right. But the map, if you just walk in City Hall, look at our map,
It's going to show
that line's going to be there. I understand that. Okay, that's worth it. All right, moving on to number 5. This is a standard almost every year. The county changes or does a rate change for our purchase of sewer, processing sewer. This is an ordinance, first reading. That we're changing our sewer rates based on pass-through wholesale rates from the county. Is there any discussion? You can see it's going up, 44 cents per thousand, for 4,000 gallons. Is there a motion to read the ordinance? But remember, this is first reading.
I make a motion we read ordinance 774 by title only.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any opposition? Please read, Ms. Dan.
Ordinance 774. An ordinance amending Chapter 52 of the City Code to increase the rates for sewer service, including the discounted sewer rate for senior citizens, providing for severability, correction of Scrivener's errors, codification, repealer, and an immediate effective date.
Thank you. Put that on for our next meeting, please.
We've already arranged the notice to ensure that we can do at the next meeting, not before.
Yeah, are we going to be able to get that? Everything's okay with that? We just
Already set up. Usually we wait until after the first reading, but we went ahead and arranged it already to make sure.
okay. All right, moving on, number 6, 775. This one sort of slipped up on us, or slipped up on me, and I put this in here, and Doug and I have discussed this. This deals with commercial properties that are able to rebuild in the same footprint. If some of you, well, I don't know who all was here when we did this, but anyway, is set to sunset in October, on October 26th. And this ordinance says that we're proposing to move it back through October 26th of 2023. Too many properties out there, folks, that are not being rebuilt, that in the commercial line especially. If we don't change it, they're not gonna be able to, they won't be able to be used. They can't meet all the code requirements.
I agree.
So we gotta give them, I mean, we need to give them a little more time and see. I know, I hate to lose it, and I know it's been 3 years, but in the big scheme of things, building your business back is not a necessarily easy decision, so.
Whenever we did, we didn't realize it's gonna be this long.
That's right, nobody knew, we just picked a date. So,
For clarification, this rule, we didn't change the way it reads, we just extended the
Extended the
date. And what it really does, it doesn't waive nonconformities or problems. It just allows staff to process a development order without having to go through first planning and zoning board review and then second city council review. So it can accelerate the owner's process by a couple of months.
Which is huge. Which is huge.
yeah, I totally agree. We put back what they had in the same footprint and or within modifications of that meet the same, we need to let them do it, so. Is there any further discussion or motion to read? Again, this is first reading.
Make a motion to read ordinance number 775 by title only.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Please read.
Ordinance 775, an ordinance of the City of Mexico Beach, Florida, amending the Land Development Code to eliminate planning board and city council review of commercial development order applications that propose to rebuild improvements substantially similar to how they existed prior to Hurricane Michael, providing that such rule expires after 24 months, providing for codification, repealing ordinances and resolutions to the extent of any conflict, providing for severability and an immediately effective date.
All right, does this not protect, but does it keep someone, before we read the second time, October 26th is gonna?
We do have it set up for October 26th.
Okay.
It's already ready.
So we're not gonna have to do the 30 days.
It'll be next meeting.
Okay.
Those two ordinances we've already arranged for next time.
Okay, good. All right, number 7, David, Doug, who's handling this?
On the dredge, for the task force.
Hydrographic task force.
Yes, sir. So Atkins has asked Dewberry to handle the surveying do a pre-survey and then a post-survey after the dredge work to help with FEMA. Obviously, you're aware FEMA doesn't make it easy for anybody, at least the first time around. So this is our fees for that work.
Dana, this is documentation to show FEMA that what we take out, and then a post survey to show that we did it, so that we can prove to them that we're doing what we told them we were going to do.
Yes.
Okay, well, I'm gonna tell you, I think this is smart to do. We've run into. I wish we'd have done this before, instead of arguing with them. But that's what this is. This is phase 2 dredging. We've been 21 months trying to tell them that we didn't finish what we started, and all we're doing is doing a pre and post survey so that when we're through, I guess you say we're just wiser, is it there? It is a FEMA covered expense. Yes or no?
Should be.
I mean, yeah, I mean, that's what, That's part of the scope of work.
It was part of the scope of work.
All right, that's, in a nutshell, that's what that does. Is there any questions? Chair will entertain a motion.
Make a motion, we read resolution 2149 by title only.
Second. Have a motion and a second. Please read.
Resolution 2149, a resolution of the City of Mexico Beach, Florida, approving a task order with Dewberry Engineers Incorporated for the base value of $30,502 for hydrographic surveying to confirm dredge depths.
Is there a motion to approve?
Make a motion, we approve resolution 2149.
Second. Have a motion and a second. Call the roll, please.
Mayor Kathy?
Yes.
Mr. Pollak?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Call?
Yes.
Mr. Key?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Moving on, number 8. This is the Atkins contract amendment. I think the short version of this is we hadn't run out of money, but we've run out of time on their contract.
Yes, sir.
And they're asking us to do a 1-year extension to continue with the projects that you've heard Ryan come here and speak about and to monitor those that we are in the process of doing. So, very simple, as you've seen in your packet, simply extending them, that they initially signed a 3-year agreement. And we're still plugging along. And we couldn't be where we're all now. So, any comments?
So there's no more money going, because it would be here if it was, I guess, so it's just a, give them the amount of time, at least another year to get these things done. If they would set
Well,
out to
they're
do.
maintaining the same rate schedule, and we backed them off, what, Doug or Ryan, I mean, it's been half probably, if not more.
Yeah, okay.
The contract has a total not to exceed value on it, and there seems to be sufficient money left.
Right, from the original agreement, the $6 million.
Okay.
And we're
there's not a million.
we're well under
4.8.
So, okay, Chair will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion, we read resolution 2150 by title only.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please read.
Resolution 2150, a resolution of the City of Mexico Beach, Florida, approving a contract amendment with Atkins North America Incorporated for a 1-year renewal.
Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion, we approve resolution 21-50.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Call the roll, please.
Mayor Kathy?
Yes.
Mr. Pollak?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Call?
Yes.
Mr. Key?
Yes.
Okay, number 9. Resolution 2151 deals with the gas station at the west end of town. At our last meeting, we talked about getting a proposal. It appears that we have a proposal. I understand we have an updated proposal that is different from what we originally did. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. I can provide a brief summary, and
Okay.
the representatives from the property over here too, if they want to speak. But, last meeting, we talked in generalities about an annexation after 5 years with a donation to the city annually until that time. I think it began at $7,000 and escalated 5% per year. Since then, staff has negotiated more favorable terms for the city, and we have an actual document in front of us that shows the details. And in general, it would be an annexation after 3 years. That wouldn't be 3 years from today's date. That'd be 3 years from the date that the building is completed. And the donation to the city. Actually, the donation previously was higher, but it is now $7,000 flat annual per year. First donation occurring around the time of the CO of the building. So those were the best terms we were able to negotiate. They're here for your consideration today. I do want to clarify for anyone who looked at the online meeting package materials, the draft of this agreement included was the second to last draft instead of the last draft, but the only changes between those two drafts are just clarifications of how and when the paperwork will be completed for the annexation, rezoning, and comp plan change, and then also clarification that the annexation will occur after 3 years instead of at least 3 years later from the CO. So nothing will change the business terms, just clarifications. And if this is approved, the city's normal impact fees and tap fees would apply. They would be paid before service would be connected. So that would just all be normal.
Those fees are approximately $10,000, and then they would, the reason that's $7,000 instead of $8,000, now including the upcharge that we charge for non-annexed properties, they would continue to pay that higher fee.
So what happens if before they have the 3-year annexation period come due, they decide to sell it? Is the next person that buys it held to this agreement?
We would hold the next owners of it, yes.
So I mean, but is it in the document that we have that? Because
I will review that right now. And I think we could add that, but it's not here for you.
Yeah. I can answer that question. I'm Tim Perry with Gardner This Firm. I'm the attorney for Southwest Georgia Oil. And the agreement provides that it enters to the successors and signs the parties. It's also recordable, so we recorded it in the public record so that any future parties that purchase the property will be on record and be on notice. So we're fine with the city and the subsequent owners.
And so that you guys didn't consider, because everything is based on what it's going to be taxed at once it's built, correct? That's essentially y'all's need for running the annexation out 3 years or 5 years or whatever, based on the tax structure and what your tax bill is going to be, correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, so is there any kind of, I mean, you know, we're optimistic, but we've had discussion from our financial lady that there's a good possibility that we're going to drop the millage rate a lot faster than what people thought. If we drop that millage rate, can we not write something in there that if we drop that millage rate by a couple of points, we can go ahead and annex at that point? Because that's the critical factor for you guys. And then rather than us miss another year or 2 years or whatever, because we could do that next year, and then we would be allowing you guys not to pay even that lower rate for the extra 2 years. Is that something that you guys would consider? Because, you know, for me, what I think we discussed last time was you guys were going to bring us back options and stuff so that we can consider it and kind of together make some sort of agreement instead of, and I know
this was their best and final offer.
Yeah. Okay. Is there?
May I speak?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. We were asked to present a best and final offer,
Okay.
not multiple options.
Yeah.
If ultimately after we built the property and found that our taxes were lower than the $7,000 donation that we've offered to make, that is anticipated to mirror the tax structure, then we would annex early. That would be fine.
Can you?
But we would also agree to make a $7,000 donation, which would be effectively what you're saying is that might be higher than what our taxes would be. So what we're looking for is that certainty for 3 to 5 years. And so we've offered to lower our proposal from 5 years to 3 in exchange for the certainty of that amount that mirrors what you all calculated our tax to be. But we would be fine to annex early if the taxes turned out to be lower than that.
Okay, so if we drop it by 2 points, the millage rate, I mean,
Well, the problem is we don't know what our taxes are going to be.
Well, I know until you get finished, but you have
Correct.
but you have a pretty good idea because nobody goes in and builds something without knowing kind of what they're going to pay for it. I would think.
Right.
So.
That's right, but we don't know what the tax assessor will ultimately value the property at.
Yeah.
And that's how the city staff has
Right.
come up with the estimated amount of the tax. But there is some dispute on that
So
from our perspective.
you would be willing to go ahead and annex early should the millage rate drop?
Should our taxes be lower than what the $7,000 donation
If
is?
the millage rate drops, it's going to drop, right? Am I wrong? I'm assuming.
That's true. The bigger factor though is going to be the actual assessed value of the property. That's the unknown. We can control the millage rate. It may go up or down a point, but they're not sure until the project's built out how it's going to be assessed by the property rate. If it's assessed at $1 million, there's no problem. If it's assessed at $3 million, they have a very large tax bill.
And we have a lot of documentation based on our own research as to what we think is going to come in, right?
We do, and that's where this $7,000-8,000 figure has come from. That's where it'll likely fall somewhere around there. But there's no certainty. Sure.
Okay.
And ultimately, that's why we agreed to, in addition to making the $7,000 donation, which is intended to mirror the tax, the property tax, we would also be paying the 25% premium on our water rates, as any other property that sits outside the city limits pays.
Right, right.
And to your point, option B was they either put the project on hold for a number of years or they sell it.
It does sound like if you're inclined to approve today, we can add a sentence that would say that if $7,000 donation will not exceed the actual taxes in those years, then the annexation occurs. Is that fair?
Yeah, say that one more time, sorry.
If the actual taxes assessed were ever, once the building's complete, it's the full value, if they're ever less than that $7,000 donation amount, that you would annex zero.
Yes, they would.
Yeah.
Okay, we can have a simple second.
That would make me feel good. Thank you.
Thank you all for your consideration.
Any comments from the floor? Okay. Who wrote this? You wrote this?
The contract?
Yeah.
No, the attorney for the property.
Under B up there on page 2, the last sentence says that the city will adopt future land use designations, zoning district of property that most closely approximate the Bay County future land use map. I don't agree with that at all.
Well, it would need to be something that would allow the use that's in place, the convenience store use. That was, I think, the intent. We could probably specify what the zone would be instead.
Well, it's clearly commercial.
It's going to be commercial.
But that it mirrors the future land use map. If we're gonna annex that property in, it needs to be what our future land use map is.
Oh, that's what it's saying. It's just currently that property has Bay County designations. They're going to be used for the approval. They've already been approved for the development order for this convenience store.
I understand.
The goal, the purpose of that sentence is that in 3.5 years, whatever it is, the annexation occurs, that we will then change it to Mexico Beach designations under our comp plan and our zoning, but something that's similar to what is the present zoning so that we don't create non-conformities. Yeah, and all like
I'm not sure that's what that says, but that's okay.
I think it'll almost certainly just be general commercial. Future
Most likely it will be,
Gerald.
But that's,
Not really see.
no. Okay.
I mean, we could probably go ahead and change that as well. That's the most beneficial city zoning future land use category to the applicants. They'll probably be happy if it just says that. So our least restricted category allows those uses.
Well, the only reason I raise that question is that prior, when that property, just like Sugar Sands, they went to the county and they got it approved through the county for a land use change. Okay, the county had no obligation to come to us as a city because it's in the county. The problem is that it's sitting out there at the end of our town, serviced by everything that we have, and I don't want to be tied to the Bay County land use map if we annex in. When they annex in, then that needs to be our future land use map.
That's the purpose.
Okay, but, well, I understand.
Yeah, and this, Tim Perry again, I can speak to that. I mean, that's exactly basically what it says, is that once the annexation takes place, then you're gonna have to change your future land use and your comp plan to accommodate that property. And what you'll do is you'll look at the Bay County comprehensive plan. It's probably commercial for that property, and you'll say, well, what's the same commercial use for Mexico Beach's plans and standards in your land development code, and you'll apply that same code if it's commercial to that property. That's basically all it's saying, is you're gonna look at what Bay County's done, and you're gonna pick the code provision that is the most similar within your code to make sure.
For your property, we would, because it's clearly, we're allowing it to be built prior to annexation. Moving down the road, the other property behind you, they may want something different, see? And so I don't want to get tied, I don't even like that Bay County future land use map is in that center, personally. I don't see, because if someone wants to build, or Nick, if someone comes to us on another parcel of property, and they want to be, right now, I think all of that zone commercial, if I'm not mistaken. That whole behind you is all commercial to East Bay. I think that's the way the county designated that. For you, it seems elementary because you're defining what you're doing. We aren't defining what the rest of that, you aren't speaking to the rest of that property, nor are we. Because we don't know what they're not requesting in annexation.
And they may never, because one difference between the property today that we're talking about and the rest of that property, their parcel is small enough that it's very challenging to develop it in any way that doesn't involve using city water and sewer. That property is north is fairly large. They have more flexibility about what they might want to do there with septic or water.
I'm just raising the point that sometimes we just looking through a straw. At this piece of property, there's more property out there that I don't want us to forget about, and how that's going to change, affect, or deal with whatever we tell these people. That's all.
Well, and what you just said about the other acres, what could they possibly build or do out there without water and sewer?
Well, the property to the north, I don't know the exact size, but it's over 100 acres. They have a lot more ability to develop without municipal water and sewer with that actually. I'm not saying that's what they do with their plans.
What Nick said was, and what I think we can think of surely is that what it's going to be. I mean, it's going to be general commercial when it's annexed. I mean, is there any possibility that we would put it as something else?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh no.
So, and if we could go ahead and put that in here and say that when it's annexed, it will be, because you guys, that's not going to conflict with what you guys want to do to be general commercial. That's our most, like as Nick says, that's our most open requirement. We do more with that than anything else. Can we not take Bay County out of this and go ahead and say, once it's annexed, it's going to be general commercial? Is that just like you mentioned earlier, Nick?
Sounds fine to me.
I mean, then would that?
Yeah, well, yeah, it's just that there's more out there. I'm just,
yeah.
when you start using Bay County land use map,
And then we can
I mean,
get that out
they
of
may
here.
change.
Yeah.
The Bay County may change.
Right, so if we get that out of here, then that doesn't give anybody else the idea that whatever Bay County does, we'll do. Right?
No, I don't have a problem just saying that it will be designated.
Yeah.
Because that's what it is. That's what it should be. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. I'm good.
And at that time in the future, we'll just go through our normal process to change the zoning and comprehensive plan. Adopt the ordinance like that.
So can we, so we need to, can we do it by saying that that's the change that's going to be put in there and go ahead and do the resolution? Or no?
Yeah, that's minor to me. That's
We staff and I can make those revisions if you're want to vote on this.
Okay.
Tim,
Okay.
Tim, were you concerned with that language? Did you think designating the zoning in advance was going to create a legal issue? I mean, I understand how that could be viewed as a rezoning now, not going through the processes, but to me, it's equivalent of what we were just saying originally, which is that it's going to be the zoning category that's similar to Bay County's, which is going to be general commercial.
I think we can work out some language in there that'll be acceptable, yeah.
Okay, so at this point, just to recap, the agreement that you would be voting on would be what you have with two changes. First, that it would not reference Bay County comprehensive plan, future land use map, and zoning anymore. It would just say that the property in the future would be changed to general commercial under city zoning and city comprehensive plan. And the other change is that if the actual taxes to the owner, once the full constructed project has been assessed, are ever less than the donation level, then the annexation will just occur at that time instead of after 3 years.
That makes me happy.
And it's a guarantee they will annex.
It is.
Within the plan.
I missed the last meeting, so I'm moving my head a little bit, and I've been talking, we just.
They essentially wanted to annex in 5 years, and we told them that was too far, and that, you know, we're adjusting the millage rate quickly because we're getting everything under control, and we're doing better than we thought.
We don't want to annex
And we don't want
until.
And essentially, they need some time to make sure that they're going to be making money. And the big variable for them is that they don't know what it's going to come in appraised at, which is the big key for them to want to hold off on annexation in case it's appraised at a real high value.
And then the broader background of why we're looking at some negotiated deal, just instead of saying, no, you have to annex or not. They're obviously represented by council. They disputed whether the city can really require the annexation, provide service. We've had a lot of back and forth on that, and this is a way to settle that disagreement, move forward, and maybe get the project built and get the city annexation in a relatively short time.
Okay, I'm gonna carry this little up back and forth. Alan, your comment about the premium costs. Are we going, as a city, going to put that premium cost to our general funds? We're gonna leave it in the water and sewer funds. Okay.
So the increased rates on water
Like
and
we did
sewer
with
should go in the water and sewer fund. It's just like any other properties outside the city being charged additional rates. The donation fund amount, the $7,000, that would actually just go to the general fund.
So that goes to the general fund.
Yes, sir.
Would you say that again, what is going into the general fund, please?
There's an annual donation of $7,000. That would go to the general fund.
For me, and I think y'all annexed into the city. I would hear the last meeting. I went back to poll just when I heard today, and I came back for a few days. I think they need to annex into the city, and we would have to go through this. I know $7,000 sounds good, but we all just guessing on what it's going to do. You can't do that on taxes anyway. In my opinion, I think we need to annex into the city.
Well, the proposal that is before us to discuss. So if there's any, now's the time, this is, as they say, their best and final offer to how they want to proceed. Anybody else?
Well, just my final thought and statement is that I think that they, like us, have both done as much as we can do, and I think it would be great if we could go ahead if they would annex, but they're not. And so any kind of business deal, an agreement benefits both parties, and I think this benefits both parties and gets what we want, not as quick as we want, but it gets what they want, and not, it's quicker than what they want. And so I think it's a good compromise, and I think it shows everybody on our part, we've really gone and bent over backwards, and they have showed that they've been over backwards. So I think it's good, and I think it's going to be a good service station, and I need diesel.
I do too.
So
I need to do that. And I stopped at, the business, they all over now. I stopped at 2 or 3 coming in.
Yeah.
And they got the deadies, they got a night.
So it's, I think it's a win-win for everybody, the way that we've got it now, personally.
I think we need to annex. We need first.
I have no idea what that was, I apologize. It's on the
Anybody got any?
I really think they should just go ahead and annex into the city anytime. Anyone goes into business, you have a risk. You have a risk factor, or you wouldn't be going into business. You already know there's going to be a lot of unknowns. I just think they should annex into the city and carry on. And I think it would be a great addition to Mexico Beach. I think it would be wonderful and much needed. Truly I do. I think you just ought to annex into the city. Be done.
Well, see, I think we've shown them, we went through several scenarios in Bay County of similar businesses. And if the $7,000 mirrors, as they say, mirrors or closely mirrors what they made, what their tax obligation would be. And if they're wrong, they're only going to be wrong by maybe $1,000, $2,000. I mean, they could be wrong. I don't disagree. They could be over. But if the certainty is what we're looking for here, and I've said this before, I don't see why we can't just move forward. I want the business out there, but I don't like this, what I consider to be almost unnecessary negotiation over what proves to be maybe a couple $1,000. Maybe. I don't know. And it makes it more and more difficult for those that are rebuilding. Remember, we're in a rebuilding, so there's other people doing the same thing that they are in our city. had one of them come and said, hey, I can't make this work because my taxes are too high. So I respect their position, I simply don't agree with it. Okay. Bob, you got anything, or?
Well, you almost mirrored what I was gonna say. I'm worried about what's gonna come in later, and who's gonna say, well, let's cut my taxes, let's do this. And, I'm not tax hungry, but at the same time, we gotta support our city, and that's the biggest thing I'm looking for. And like I said, every time we had a meeting here, this city is going to supply y'all's service station with at least 75% of this business. One reason of it is going to be because of this city. And I feel like you should be a part of the city. And if you feel like $7,000 is the most, then go ahead and be us. We're going to support you. Support us. I guess that's the best way to put it. You expect us to support you and give you the business, yet you don't want to support us. So I'm still going back to being part of the city.
May I address your comments?
Yes.
We believe that the agreement that we presented to you does address your concerns, but it gives us the certainty that we need to move ahead with a business that's unlike anything that's been built in Mexico Beach ever. We bought a piece of property that's not in the city limits, so we're not asking you to cut our taxes as a city taxpayer. We believe that we have the right to ask for you to provide water and sewer service even if we didn't annex. You believe that you have the right to force us to annex. So we have a disagreement on that. That's been very clear. And we feel like if we went to court, we would prevail. And that the court would say, you have an agreement with Bay County that says you have to provide water and sewer services at a 25% premium to businesses and residents outside of the city limits within your service area. We bought a piece of property in that service area and felt like we would be able to get water and sewer as a result of that. You denied us service unless we annexed. We don't believe we have the obligation to annex. However, as your attorney pointed out, as part of the opportunity that we viewed to resolve that dispute, we presented a compromise where we would agree to annex at a future date, but in the meantime, you would receive effectively the same amount of money that we would have been paying in property taxes in the form of a donation. That gives us the certainty. If we knew what the tax assessor, believe me, we've talked to the tax assessor several times. If we knew what the tax assessor was going to value our business for certain before we built it, we wouldn't have to have this agreement, as you pointed out. But we don't know that. And by the time it's built, it will be too late. I don't know that the ultimate taxes are going to be within $1,000 or not of this donation amount. Those are numbers that your staff came up with. If that's correct, we are happy to pay that in the form of a donation, and we even agreed to shorten it from 5 years to 3, and we even agreed to pay the 25% premium on the water and sewer rates, even though we're giving you a donation that mirrors the amount of tax that you would otherwise receive. So effectively, the city is not giving up anything and is in fact getting a 25% premium on our water and sewer rates that we wouldn't pay if we annexed. So you're getting $7,000 a year and the 25%. What it gives us is the certainty of being able to say, okay, now we know what our property is assessed at and what our taxes are. It gives us the time to operate. We resolve this dispute of whether or not you can force us to annex without going to court over it. And so, to your point, I appreciate your comments about the fact that both sides have given some here, and I think everybody's worked very hard with us to try and get a solution here, and I appreciate that. We think we've given too, and we want to bring this service to your community because we view it as our community. You talked, one of your council members said he was not at the meeting last time, but you heard from our owner. This is the place where our families grew up. He owns property inside the city limits. Our human resources person has property inside your city limits. So this is where folks from Bainbridge have come to vacation all of my life. This is where my family came. So we want to bring it here. We know there's a need for these amenities now. We're not in the habit of buying $550,000 pieces of property and then sitting on it for several years. We want to get that property into production, which was my point to Mr. Baker, that if this is not approved now, we don't have any choice. We might come back and build it in a few years, but we probably put the property up for sale because we don't need to sit on $500,000 pieces of property that we're not going into production. So with all due respect to your considerations here, I do believe we've given you a proposal that gets you what you need, which is the tax money now in exchange for those services, but gives us the certainty that we need for the next 3 years. So I would appreciate your consideration of approving it. You might not agree with the philosophy of it, but I think the fact that we don't believe that a court would agree with you that you can force us to annex, and so this allows us to resolve that dispute in a way that I think gets you exactly what you need. I don't think the city's giving up anything except the statement that we have annexed today. We're going to annex in 3 years or less, and in the meantime, you're going to get the financial benefit of someone who is inside the city limits. So anybody who's already owns property in the city limits can't claim that we're contributing anything less than they are, because we're giving you that donation that mirrors the property taxes.
Just for clarification, when we're talking $7,000 to $8,000 investment, that's based on what the property appraiser did last year on similar properties. So that's very reasonable based on last year. Their concern, which is totally justified, is, well, that's last year. Things can change. There could be new policies, new personnel, and they know their construction costs, and they have concerns that maybe would be off by a few $1,000s. They're concerned that if there are very bad circumstances occur, maybe it's off by a lot more than that, $10,000, $20,000. So that's what they're concerned about, trying to protect against.
I understand.
Well, I personally think that this is a good deal. We're not losing anything. We're actually getting everything. If they were to annex, we're actually getting that amount of money, and it looks like it will annex in under 3 years. And if it does in 3 years, we still are guaranteed the monies with the donation and with the increased rates. I think we're kind of cutting our nose off to spite our face here if we don't agree with this. I think they've been generous in what they've agreed to do, and I think I would be very disappointed if we don't approve this the way this is, because this is reasonable and it keeps us out of potential litigation, which none of us want. That's my personal feeling.
Thank you for your comments. Your first name again?
Lenny.
Lenny.
Yes.
This is a proposal from y'all. If we counter proposal, because you commented earlier, if you thought the taxes would be that you would annex her. If the taxes proved that you would say, hey, what if we said if the taxes were the donation was $9,000 and that you would annex in immediately on the first year after you got your assessment. I think we're cutting, in order to be as open and for me, because I I've told Mike and I've told y'all, I mean, I need diesel too. Okay, I mean, but the city, for me, I've got to have some protection for the people that I represent. That we're making a good deal and we're not fine lining it to the point that we get to, that we don't collect what we should be due. Maybe it's the best way I can say it. I want to have some assurances, because what Nick just said was that we used the tax appraiser's numbers, not our numbers. We went around Bay County, we looked at other properties. And I would be willing, because I want the business, our town needs it desperately. But I'm willing to consider if you would be willing to, at this meeting, to negotiate a higher number for a donation, with the caveat that if the tax is proved to mirror or less than what you're saying, that you would annex in.
And so your proposal is that the amount changed to
$9,000, and that
for 3 years.
For 3 years, and
or less.
that on the year that you come in, if the tax is proved to be that we'd do away with the 3 years. We would annex in. If it exceeds that tax amount, then we'll stay with the 3-year plan. That, for me, makes it easier for my constituents I say, look, we need the business, but we don't want to shortcut them or us.
Right.
I don't want to shortcut you, because I want the business. I don't want to shortcut the people that we serving today that are in business, whether it be a single family home or another business person. Because I really feel comfortable, more so than you. Of course, I'm not the one that's out there speculating on what it will be. I understand that. But I feel much more comfortable that value, that higher number, will adequately, based on the research we've done, will adequately say, look, yes, in the form of a donation, but if they had been in the city, they wouldn't have paid it. We didn't lose a penny on that.
Yes, sir.
That's for me. If I didn't try to overstate that, but that would be something for me. I'm not saying the council would approve of that change, but for me, that would make a significant difference in my supporting you coming here.
Yes, sir. Well, and I appreciate your concern for your constituents, of course. So if I understand it, your proposal is only different by the amount.
By the amount. And that if the taxes did mirror or less than, that you would annex in the first year?
Well, that was already going to be one of the changes.
That's true. I forgot. Dick said that in the beginning.
Yes.
So for the council, that would be, for me, would make a difference. Because I've been worried, I've been asked, this is floating around in our town. I'm trying to do what best serves you, and so that I can say, at the end of the year, had we annexed in, they wouldn't have paid us this much anyway.
Right.
If it's for sale, I would go along with that. If it's for sale, let's get it going. Let's get some diesel in here for everybody. So I would go along with it.
We would agree with that.
All right, so in essence, the number becomes 9. The change that Nick said would be that if on the first year after that they would look at their tax schedule, and if it fell in that thing, then they'd annex in the first year. So the only thing it does is during the construction phase, they're paying us 25% on water, sewer. That's just a better sale because I'm so comfortable that the taxes are due. Personally.
And I'm comfortable with the taxes not gonna be that. We're really more comfortable about, you are, that's easy for us to say, but, you know, and I appreciate you agreeing to do that, because I think that surely that's gonna make the deal happen.
I think so, thank you.
So, Mick, if we modify that, is that in a point now that this needs to come back to us in a rewritten form?
No, staff and I and their legal counsel can work through that, and we'll just bring it to you for signature, assuming that it's approved.
All right, so.
Then I make a motion, we read resolution 2151 by title only, then if there's no other comments, and everybody's clear about what we're
Let's
doing.
verify there's no other comments. Jerry or Sharon, any comments? Anything? Anybody out here? Okay. All right, then proceed.
Motion to read resolution 2151 by title only.
Well, the motion's got to include the changes.
Oh, well, okay. So I make a motion to read resolution 2151 by title only with the understanding that the corrections that we've talked about, which are 3, from 7 to 9,000, annexing in earlier than the 3 years should their tax bill come and prove that that's warranted. And what was the other one?
That we would eliminate the reference to Bay County zoning.
And we're gonna go ahead and designate it as general, commercial, so that we've eliminated the sentence of Bay County's involvement.
Everybody out there follow that? I'm talking about sun stoppers, the motion.
We're fine with that, yes.
All right, we have a motion on the floor, is there a second?
I'll second as long as I don't have to repeat anything.
We have a motion and a second, is there further discussion?
For the reading of the resolution, you can just read the way it's currently written.
All right, please read.
Resolution 2151, a resolution of the City of Mexico Beach, Florida, approving a settlement agreement with Southwest Georgia Oil Company Incorporated, providing for delayed annexation into the city and providing an immediate effective date.
Is there a motion for approval?
I make a motion, we approve resolution 2115 with all the 51 with all the aforementioned additions to it.
Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Call the roll, please.
Mayor Cathy?
Yes.
Mr. Pollak?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
No.
Ms. Call?
No.
Mr. Key?
Yes.
Okay. Welcome aboard.
Get us some diesel fuel.
Fast as we can.
Don't sell any diesel to him.
All right, moving to, I lost my agenda. Where are we?
The dredge project construction. Update from the city manager.
Number 10, sir.
I know. Don't make my agenda.
Here's your 10.
Thanks. Did you take it?
I didn't take it.
It's just a discussion, sir. It's just-
Oh, yeah, okay, dredge project.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
sorry, go ahead. I don't know what happened to mine, but it doesn't matter.
So this is just a brief update after dealing with Crowder, when it's doing their dredging within the canal. They're recommending that we do a hold harmless agreement for the people that own property next to the boat slips as they're dredging the canal. The hold harmless would relieve them, the vendor, if there was any damage done for where they're dredging out near their seawall, and also the city would not incur any additional cost for that. We've created, actually Nina, ACDC, with Nick and myself, created a form that will be online for them to fill out. They can come by City Hall and fill it out. We're working on sending it to each one of their addresses. And it's just notify you guys that we're doing that to protect the city, and so we can continue to move forward with this project. That's all it is.
Okay. We've done that in every dredge project prior to this. We've done those hold harmless agreements. All right, thank you for that update. Number 11.
That was also me and Nick, I believe, talking about food trucks. So as we talked about earlier with the commercial rebuilding and the time frame that had come up, We also have an extension in there for the food trucks, which goes through April of '22. We've had a couple people come in right now to renew their business license, and currently we would have to only renew it for 6 months if we didn't address it now or later, because it's only allows it through April. I'll let Nick talk about some of the state rules now that have changed since that went into play.
Sure. And we're not looking for something to be adopted today. We have a little time, but it's good to start thinking about this now. So our original food truck, food trailer rules pre-hurricane said they defined what a food truck is, what a food trailer is, said no food trailers, period. It's kind of vague about food trucks. At the time, I don't think any of you were on the council, but the council was split on how they felt about food trucks. So there's some gray area there. Hurricane occurs, and we go ahead and adopt the current rule, which says that if it's the location where primarily it was food or beverage services previously, so restaurants, and some stores, bars, that those locations can have a food truck. That was a way to get some service in the city quickly. That's the rule that will expire in this upcoming April. So one approach we could take is to change that head, or do nothing. But to further complicate things, about a year ago, the state adopted a statute specifically about food trucks. So now cities have a little less flexibility about what they can do anymore. The two takeaways from that statute are you can't just say food trucks are totally prohibited everywhere. So you have to create some way that they can do somewhere. And then you also can't have a system of permits or licensing where you have some advanced approval each time. Instead, you can still set general rules that they have to follow for the locations. Simple say you can pick zoning categories for a while. But I think you could also adopt rules that would say that those locations need certain features, like parking or restaurants. But you can't have them come in each time to apply for their usage. It's designed, this legislature did it this way so that it'd be simpler for a food truck to know where they can set up and go set up. Assuming this is on private property, because I don't think you'd want to approve this on right of ways, they still need permission of the property. So the general conversation is we could look at that date that's currently April and consider changing it, but the better solution, because at some point we need more set rules anyway, would be to look at just a normal permanent rule to describe where and under what conditions food trucks can operate, because the state now says we have to allow some.
So we're trying to get the general breadth of the council for what we can bring back to you, so we're not waiting for the last minute and making a decision.
My breath is I like food trucks. I think they have a place in our town. I always thought they did.
Totally agree.
And I don't know the state, I don't know the requirements, but what we had before, prior to the one that got changed, I thought it served our little town well. Meaning the language in the pre-Michael ordinance that allowed them, and in 2015 when it got changed to where they're not allowed. But the language that was in that previous ordinance prior to 15 had been on the books for a long time.
And I do have those three relevant rules. I'll share them with you.
Some of the states looking down, they created a different language. But for me, I would like to see us institute where food trucks are allowed. As long as they're, maybe the caveat of that they have to be some type of, I don't mean something comes in here on 3 wheels and they don't know if the trailer's broken, or, I mean,
right. And this only applies to
cosmetically pleasing food truck.
There's a state licensing program, so the statute that the state adopted that said you have to allow that somewhere you can't prohibit them, that's for the state licensed trucks. I don't think they really do much as far as what does the truck look like, but it's more of a health and sanitation statute.
Well, they should have a lot of requirements.
So there's going to be some degree of ensuring that it's not a real hunk of junk in order to keep your kitchen up to the level that needs to be. These rules would only apply if they have that state license, which is similar to restaurants.
I think we have some directions. Some
Is everybody okay with just letting them come with us to something? And while we're speaking of food trucks, yeah, just one second. The one down there by the killer on this end, the one that's been sitting there for over a year and a half, laying on the ground, it's inactive. Why is it still there? Well, to me, that's
What about taco place?
yeah, by the taco place. There's one sitting there right next to that guy's house that has been there in that condition for at least a year and a half.
Yeah, what was he saying?
Is it selling? Is that anymore?
I'll look into it, sir.
It's just, yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm Tim Moore. I'm the guy that has the house with the dilapidated food truck sitting right beside it. So, yeah, that's my comment too. It's like, I don't have anything against food truck. Love Killer, but they've got it set up nice. You know, other places, they don't have it set up nice. They don't maintain the yard. You know, there needs to be some type of decorum about it, I guess.
Well, to me, that's a code violation.
Yes, sir. We'll look at
That's
it.
just a simple code violation that needs to be moved.
Thank you. Thanks for bringing it to my attention. I'll check into it.
We understand.
All right, thanks, sir.
Okay, any more on that from Doug or Nick? No?
We'll work on something and bring it back to you at a later date, sir.
All right, number 12, who's handling that? Nick, okay.
This made the agenda initially because we thought we might have this ready for approval. We don't, but just a brief update. You'll probably have this before the next meeting. You may have thought the city's insurance plans were closed out. Each of the particular locations where there's a lot of damage, we have received a payment for the eligible locations already. What this relates to really is there was two different payout approaches, which you're probably familiar with from your own claims. There's cash value and replacement value. Replacement value is if you had to go replace it right now and pay current prices, what would it cost? Cash value is, well, you get less than that amount because whatever you're fixing is older and already has some value loss through depreciation. So the public adjuster that's working for the city, and I'm going to try to get them to speak next meeting to give a recap of the overall claims that have been received and this closeout. They were working with the insurance company as to how to categorize some of the claims, whether it be replacement value versus cash value. And the insurance company is proposing to pay out one more payment of $100,000 to resolve all of that. I don't really have the details from the public administrators about whether they think we're giving up anything on that or not. Although they did say they recommended the $100,000 would be something that they would want the city to accept. So we'll have the details of that, any documents required to close that out next meeting for consideration. But that's generally what to expect. It'll be $100,000 and then all claims are done with the insurance company on the purchase.
We're going to have something to look at.
That's the plan. Yes.
We're going to have a list. We're going to show how they came up with that.
That's what the presenter would do.
And I know I had some emails with our public adjuster, and a lot of the issue was initially they believed that many more of these items on the list should be replacement value, but then the insurance company responded back with language which we all verified in the policy that said a 2-year limit for something to be rebuilt in order to qualify for replacement value. Some of our buildings and infrastructure haven't been rebuilt. So I think that's where the public adjuster has changed their thought on what the city might still be entitled to. We'll have something more formal, but it most likely will be a proposal for $100,000 to close out the claims. And the city has received a lot of money already. This is just the last one.
This is dealing now with when we hired the public adjuster because we didn't think that the insurance claims were being.
Is it like $20,000?
This is the same one, same outfit,
same company handling this. And they've been able to secure a lot of money for us. So
Okay. All right. Thank you. Updated project list.
Yes, sir. So the project list is struck by one. We took off the debris piles. We're still actively going after those, and start looking at any kind of code violations should they start piling up more. The first one is the 15th Street culvert. The east side was completed. The west side is underway. The company's working very well with us on that. The additional boat ramp Dewberry is designing for possible permits on that project. David, do you have anything to add for that?
Well, I mean, let's see what's the fund that we're on hold until the FWC portal grant opens up in February for construction.
No, we were always gonna put that on we talked about that multiple times. We were waiting for funding from CDBG or FWC or DEP or whoever else was up there that wants to help us fund it.
So the additional boat ramp parking, not the ramp expansion.
Sorry, parking, so the 2.3 acres at St. Joe's.
Yeah, we secured that.
Yeah, so we're putting together a task order now. I was working with Chris. He's got a little more knowledge as far as what St. Joe had planned for the property. So we'll put together a task order now to get that underway.
That's what the millings are sitting there for, and right there.
I got you. We're gonna clear all that land.
Except for the water retention area right there.
Yeah, we're gonna.
Okay, you're working on something to show us how we can extend that part.
Yes, sir.
I think Jerry thought he just when we get
that. We know. Canal dredging phase 2 start this month going forward. The citywide paving, the millings, of course, we know about those. The paving schedule is moving along. We're going to meet very shortly with Piggott for the remainder of the items that you guys had set up to have redone, and then get a schedule going forward for that. That's on the other side of the 98.
I've had many people call me about their professionalism. I'm talking about their workers, the way they handle themselves, the way the job is done, the way they're organized. I'm just saying, I pass that on to them.
That's good to hear. The only thing that I had asked them to do, David was working with, is some of the piles that they're leaving laying around, and some of their equipment not being sitting right on 98, so they're trying to make sure they keep that aesthetically pleasing for us.
Okay.
The credit card machine update, so I'll have something ready to bring back at the next council meeting. I went to Port St. Joe yesterday, met with the city manager, the gentleman that runs the machine. We have a bid in. We're just getting exactly what we need down for that to bring back for you guys. So that's moving forward. And I'll have something from you, man. Well, he said that one thing he did say was that during scalp season they were making like $10,000 a week because they $20 a launch coming out of there. People are just, credit cards aren't real money, I think. DOT right away, north side of the shoulder. Tommy, anything to change on the north side of the shoulder work for DOT right away?
No, we're just still waiting on the sidewalk project to finish, and then they'll start that one.
For the same. Okay. Highway 98 landscaping, the trees were replaced last I spoke, and the irrigation, they're checking into the irrigation and all the leaks that we had to get that squared up. Is there a two-year time frame has not started yet, sir?
We're working with the DOT to get the inspector out hopefully tomorrow, so he can plus everything's been done and put a start to that 2-year maintenance agreement.
Oh, it started?
No, sir.
Yeah.
Okay.
Highway 98 sidewalk repairs, we went through that earlier. The J, Ryan discussed the status on that. The Marina boat ramp pavilions and fish cleaning stations. We talked a little bit about that question that the mayor had earlier about the marina and the boat fish cleaning stations and stuff like that. I know the items have been ordered for the fish cleaning station. We heard about it.
Yeah, they were waiting for some material to come in so they can continue. I think they've got the concrete poured and the pavilion down in Canal Parkway. They're doing shop drawings now so they can get the stuff ordered.
Under the Palms Park, yesterday actually met with Dewberry there at the park, and they're going to work on a designs to bring back to us so we can get bids going for that. As opposed to a design build, we're going to get the designs drawn using the FEMA money and possibly some other things that we need to do for grant money that we have that we can put in there as well, like some irrigation expanded, the parking lot paved instead of gravel. We're looking at some options to make it nicer as a focal point there in the city.
Isn't that a CDBG? Did we?
No.
There's a FERDAP. There's a FERDAP grant.
FERDAP.
Exercise equipment. And then part of it's going to be FEMA.
I'll stay here long enough if I remember all the
acronyms.
Okay.
Good luck. NIFWIF or something. Yeah. All right, so the police fire municipal building, so we actually, I'm going to understand that moved towards environmental for the discussions for that process, but I guess that you corrected that earlier, so.
Yeah, well, there's another grant for HMGP that is for the safe room, or to make the safe room, so that moving forward through a different
funding source. The land right now, we have it gifted to us, but we haven't done any process on getting it closed over or annexed or anything like that, right? We've done anything else with that?
The 25 acres, yes, sir. It's, we're gonna have the title search happening now, the closing, the transfer title should be soon. I'll need to check this again. The simple budget, so once we get the title search back, we can proceed with it.
So the stormwater at multiple locations, most ideally, I'd like to make sure that you know that the 80 acres is moving forward towards closing. The 80 acres, is it far into town?
That one, let's discuss. I'm not sure I have everything I need on that.
Okay. We're keeping that moving forward for the closing on that purchase. The street lights, Tommy updated a little bit earlier on that. We were out looking at some of those late last night in the dark, myself and Mr. Smith, and we're looking for some possibility to get some escalated move forward. So I know that we need those street signs. Tommy updated Sunset Park. Bonovich is the vendor. They're waiting on their permit. And the underwater debris removal, we worked on a task order for that to keep that moving forward too.
Okay, thank you very much. Anything to add to it?
I got one thing I would like to add to it.
Okay.
Parker Park.
Yes, sir.
It's something we need to start looking at. It's a good gathering place. Music in the park or whatever, whenever we come back around on that. That's something I'd like to put on.
I'll get it added to the list. And actually, yesterday, Tommy and David and I were over there looking around at some possibilities and looking at the actual building and things like that. Mostly talked about that big tree stump somebody up there, but I think we got that under control too. So.
Denny says it would make an absolutely perfect pickleball.
That was another one that was brought to my attention yesterday from Denny about pickle.
They call them pickleplexes.
Pickleball, that's what we were talking about yesterday. Yeah. So I do know him, so I'll definitely talk and find out some ideas. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor, on the project list.
Thank you. Questions? All right. Nick, you have anything?
Not today, sir.
Doug, you got anything else as far as the closing?
The other thing, just to bring to your attention and the people watching, is about the tax collector. I know it's a sore subject today, but has offered to come here on November the 9th. They're going to set up like a one-stop shop to come in and talk about your taxes that you have each year, and they're going to be set up here on November 9th in City Hall, so the residents can come and speak to those folks, and I'll get some advertisement on the website.
What day?
November 9th. I'll get some advertisements from 10 to 2.
They're great.
I'll tell you what. So they're going to come in here and take the beating, but they will be here. We'll get that posted on the website, get some information out to the residents so they know that they can come here and ask questions. That's all I have, sir. Thank you.
Council comment? Anybody? Good. Everybody good? Thank you everyone for coming.
So moved.
So moved.